In high school, my friends took AP English, and in order to get into the class, you had to do a summer reading and a report on it. One of my friends, Sean, was a big procrastinator, and so the day before everything was due, he was saying that he wasn't done yet. So the next day we were all at school, and we saw Sean in the hallway, me and some other friends, Greg and Bant, and we were walking by the classroom of the teacher, the English teacher. And the teacher came out of his room and said, "Sean, I have a question for you." He came over and he said, "I haven't found your paper." And Sean looked really confused. He's like, "What do you mean you haven't found my paper?" He's like, "Well, I just don't have it. And so Sean went into the room and he started looking around on the table of the teacher, trying to help out. And the teacher said, "Well, I have the cover letter here, and it seems to have ripped off of the paper, but I can't find the rest of the paper." So they started looking around, and Sean's like, "Well, I don't know what happened. I put it under your door, and it should be here." And he said, "Yeah, I just can't find it." And so the teacher said, "It looks like you just printed it out. So why don't you print it out and give it to me tomorrow?" And Sean said, "Okay, I can do that." And as we were walking out in the hallway, my friend Bantu worked very hard on that paper and said, "Sean, tell me you did the paper." And Sean said, "Well, I did a cover letter."
In my neighborhood, in my church, we had a mass once a month for the men of the parish. And after the mass, we would go down into the lower level. It was like a rec room in the basement level, and have kind of a social continental breakfast, maybe you'd call it. At any rate, I was an elected public official, so it made me somebody that people, I guess, wanted to come up to and talk to more. And it wasn't about the church service. It was about anything. But I'm standing around and I'm explaining something to a group of about 4 men who had asked a question. And all of a sudden I get the tap on the back of my shoulder. And I looked around and I said, "What's it?" And it's a fellow. His name was Tyler Williams. And he was a character of our neighborhood. And he just loved to play practical jokes. He would like to surprise people. And so there we were in kind of an after-church, semi-formal setting where we're standing around talking. And he taps me on the shoulder. And I turn around and said, "Tyler, what is it?" And he's wearing this long raincoat. And he pulls open the raincoat, and he's got pinned on the inside several of the muffins or sweet rolls, a combination of it. And he says, "Are you hungry? Would you like one?" And everybody looked aghast at him. And I could do nothing but laugh. And he said, "Okay, I'll be back." He closed his coat and walked away. A little while later, he comes back again, tapped on my shoulder again. And he says, "Are you hungry yet?" He opens his coat, and there he is. He's got these 4 sweet rolls and muffins pinned inside his coat. "Take your pick," he says. And I said, "I'll get one soon, Tyler. I'll get one." "Okay." He closes his coat and walks to the other side of the room.
So the salesman was entertaining his client at a dinner, and the client was really boring. And the salesman noticed that the guy had in his jacket a little notebook, and the salesman asked, "What's the notebook for?" The client pulled it out, and he was very proud. He said, "I keep all the best jokes in here because I have a hard time remembering them, so I write them down." And to that, the client said, "Do you have any good jokes?" So the salesman, realizing that the guy was a little silly, said, "I think I have the joke for you." This one guy was committed a crime and was put into jail. And when he was going to the cafeteria for the first day, he was able to sit at this one table where all these guys who had been there a long time were. He sat down, and as he was eating, one of the guys out of nowhere yells, "14!" And everybody laughs. He looks up, he was really confused, didn't know what was so funny, but didn't say anything. A little while later, another guy at the table yells, "24!" And everybody laughs. And the guy's like, "I don't get this at all." So he looks at the guy next to him. He's like, "What's going on here?" The guy next to him said, "Well, we've been in here a long time. And so we all know the same jokes. And so instead of just saying the joke, we've numbered them. Saves a lot of time." So the new guy figured he'd give it a whirl. Out of nowhere, he yells, "7!" And no one laughs. And he looks around like, "What'd I do?" The other guy goes, "Well, not everybody can tell a joke.